Hello. For my video today, I have 9 tips on how to survive being a stay-at-home mom. Basically 9 tips on how to survive being a stay-at-home mom. A little something I want to say before I start is I would like to talk about my current situation. I have a 2-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. My husband is currently working a full-time job, and he's also building our house when he's not at work. So he is working 7 days a week, all day. He leaves the house about 7:15 in the morning, and he doesn't arrive home till about 10:30, 11 p.m. at night. And this happens 7 days a week. So that's why I felt why this video was important, is because of my current season of life. Even when we haven't been building our own house, he still will sometimes pick up a side job or a hobby. So a lot of times he is gone on the weekends too, but these past 4 years have been the most concentrated amount of time where he has been super busy 7 days a week. I do not have Fridays. I do not have weekends. Every single day is exactly the same. I also have really no family involvement, and not very many, and no options, and no real options for babysitters. I have one babysitter, and she's a high schooler, so she goes to school, Monday through Friday during the daytime. But it is really just me all day long, 7 days a week. So I have had to develop some tips and tricks to kind of keep myself sane during this time. So I was just wondering if anything that I have done might help somebody else. So my first tip is something that you might have heard of a lot, and the reason you've heard of it a lot is because it's very important. My very first tip is self-care. You have to do something that you like and that makes you feel good. In my season of life, I cannot take days off. I cannot go out and get pedicures. I cannot do stuff like that. So my self-care is painting my own nails at home, or taking a bath, or watching a movie, or watching a couple TV shows that I like, or doing some reading. But I really make self-care a priority. Sometimes I might pick up a fun facial mask at a drugstore, or whatever you like to do. Whatever you like to do, just make sure that you put self-care very high on your list. A lot of times you don't have any help with this. You really have to be creative in doing this. My second tip, number 2, is make sure you have plenty of white space in your day. Again, I have a 2 and 4-year-old, so this is very easy. I am only as busy as I make myself. And there's a lot of people out there who are only as busy as they make themselves. I make sure that we have plenty of white space in the day. One thing I make sure of is I only usually schedule one activity a day. I do not pack days full of errands and activities I want the kids to do. I try to focus on one activity a day. Like, for example, this morning we went to our local children's museum. That is the only thing that was on my agenda for today. Everything else just comes as it comes. There's, breakfast, lunch, dinner, nap time, whatever. The kids might ask me to play a game or whatever comes as it comes. But I made sure that I allowed plenty of white space in my day. And I make sure I do that every day. I don't sign up for everything. I don't say yes to everything. I make sure I have plenty of white space in my day. You are only as busy as you make yourself. My third one is very similar to what I just said about white space. My third one is don't overschedule yourself. Don't put your kids in multiple activities. Talking from my season of life currently with a 2 and 4-year-old, there's not a lot I need to sign them up for. They don't need, gymnastics and dance and music and all this stuff all the time. One thing is enough. They don't need an activity all 4 seasons. Give them a break here or there. Don't overschedule yourself. Don't overschedule your children. The only way they can be overscheduled is if you do it. That's the only way they can be overscheduled is if you do it. The only way you're overscheduled is if you're doing it. Don't overschedule yourself and don't overschedule your children. It really takes the stress level down. Tip number 4 is I don't pre-schedule random events. Like, for example, yesterday when I went to bed, I wasn't 100% sure I was going to go to the Children's Museum today. It kind of was a thought on my mind. I don't pressure myself to make permanent decisions. A lot of times I wake up the next day and I just see how I feel. If I woke up today and I didn't feel like going to the Children's Museum and I didn't go, I wouldn't have felt bad about it. I try not to pre-schedule myself. I kind of wait till the next day and I kind of just see how I feel, how my kids feel. There's been a lot of times where I had something I thought would be fun or I wanted to do, and my son has come up to me and said, "Mommy, can we stay home today?" And I said, "Sure." And I didn't feel bad about not doing whatever was in my head that day because he sometimes just wants to stay home. Occasionally. Sometimes he'll come up and ask me if we can just stay home. So I try to make sure I have blank days. Sometimes I'll have like a few maybe we go to the zoo, maybe we could go to Target, maybe we could go here or there. But I definitely don't ever make any solid plans until I wake up the next morning and kind of see how my kids feel and how I feel. My next tip, which would be 5, and this is something I've been doing a lot in probably about the past 5 years of my life, definitely since I've had kids, a couple of years before that. Eliminate unhealthy people in your life. Just kindly eliminate them. Any toxic people, just eliminate. I've had a lot of people in my past who were chronically late, canceled on me all the time. And I used to be a big pushover, a big doormat, and just allowed that to happen all the time and say no big deal. I've gotten to the point where I don't say yes to doing stuff with them. I don't invite them anywhere because I know what they do. Politely eliminating unhealthy people in your life is a good thing. Don't worry about them. Just politely just eliminate them from your life. If they contact you, via whatever way, whether you run into them somewhere, text, social media, wherever, have a polite conversation, but don't engage in don't make plans and stretch it out because it's just not good for you or your kids. Another thing I've been doing a lot lately is I have been putting away my phone. I see a lot of people carry their phone around in their back pocket or always have it held, or when we're sitting at a table, the phone's always in front of them on the table. I recently have put my phone away and I am so much happier for it. Whatever call or text you get, you have a call list and your text will sit in your text list until you reply. Almost everything can wait until you have a moment to check it. I do not have my phone in my pocket. I usually don't have it near me. Certain times throughout the day, I will go and check to see if I have any messages. A lot of times I don't. The few I do aren't time sensitive. Do not be attached to your phone. It'll just stress you out. And I guarantee you 99.9% of the message you get can wait. Another thing I've been doing is staying away from social media as much as possible. I haven't quit it because I do sometimes enjoy it, but I definitely have stepped back and have minimized the time I'm on it a lot. One of the main reasons I'm on it is a lot of times my mom's groups will send messages through it, like a meeting was canceled, or you need to bring this to the next meeting or whatever. And then my mom, my kid's grandma, lives really, really far away from me. So if I post a picture, she'll be able to see it. And then I have an aunt who also enjoys the pictures I post on my kids too. But I have definitely cut back a lot. And at first it was kind of hard. But now that I'm really used to it, I am so much happier that I have cut back on social media. I am just so much happier. I have really realized that a lot of things that people post are really not important, and there's other things that are way more important. Most people don't put very exciting things on there, and it's just not worth it. My next tip on staying sane when being a stay-at-home mom is know what you're having for dinner early. Meal plan like a solid week. At least 7 days I meal plan. On Sunday, I will meal plan for 7 days. On Monday, I usually grocery shop. And it is so much, it is so much less stress when you know what you're having for dinner with your family. Don't leave it to the last minute. And don't even do it per day. Meal plan for several days in advance. At least 5 to 7 days. My next tip this will be number 8. I don't know why this is true, but getting out of the house faster. I get out of the house faster when I get myself ready first. And I don't know why. You're still getting yourself ready and your kids ready, but for some reason, when I get myself ready first, we make it out the door quicker. I don't know why. It just works out that way. My kids, I just let them do their thing. They're playing, coloring, whatever. When I get myself ready, then I go and get them ready, coats on, loaded in the car. It's much faster. If I get them ready first and then go get myself ready, they just aren't in the, they're kind of not warmed up to go. They're not in the, for some reason it's quicker, and I don't know why. But getting myself ready first and getting the diaper bag packed first seems to get us out of the house faster. So maybe try that. It might help for you. And, I forgot to say something when I was talking about overscheduling and things like that. And signing up for activities. Kids don't care about expensive activities. Signing really young children up for music classes and things like that, or gymnastics classes a lot, more than one in a season, they really don't care about it. They would prefer going to the park or playing with instruments at home or listening to music at home and dancing with you way more than they really care about this expensive class that you have to get to every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 o'clock. It just stresses you out. It just stresses them out, and they really don't care. When they're older, it might be more important, but when they're really young, don't rush it. Don't rush it. They will be in activities later. Right now, they just don't care. They just don't care. They would rather watch a movie at home with you than go to a theater. Trust me. I forgot to say that earlier when I was talking about overscheduling. And my last one is an oldie but a goodie. Write things down. Do the old-fashioned pencil and paper. Don't write things on your phone. If you write notes on your phone, it'll just encourage you to go back and check something else out. Good old-fashioned pencil and paper on my countertop keeps me so much more organized. Then I love when I complete my tasks or do whatever I needed to do, I can wad that paper up and throw it away. It's very refreshing to me. Old-fashioned pencil and paper has really helped me stay organized. So those are basically my 9 tips on how to stay sane when you are home alone as a stay-at-home mom, a lot. And my list mainly is for someone whose husband doesn't come home at 5 every night, has every weekend off, has family in town, has friends to watch your kids, things like that. So hopefully this video will reach someone who's in kind of the same boat I'm in and is alone like 7 days out of every week. If you have family that helps, wonderful. Good for you. That's great. But not all of us do. A lot of my family work full time or live really far away, so they just can't help. Or have, other things they need to do. So I hope this video was helpful.